Chosen one, you're on the right track. Get ready. That's not a question. That's not a maybe. That's a fact sealed by divine intention. You may not feel the full weight of it just yet. The scenery around you might not have changed. The people near you may still be doubting. The money might not yet reflect the calling. But hear this clearly. You are walking the exact path that will unlock everything promised to you. You didn't just wander here. You were sent. You were positioned. And what's coming next is going to confirm why the road had to be narrow, why the walk had to be lonely, and why the silence had to be endured. Because it's all proof that what's waiting for you can't be shared with just anyone. It was tailored for the one who could keep walking in faith when nothing made sense. Watch this video until the very end, because it's carrying something that was divinely placed just for you. And in the comments, write your warmest wishes, and write amen along with the number 99. This is how we collectively energize the universe. This is how we move in alignment and release the frequency that accelerates manifestation. Something begins to move faster when we release our agreement into the atmosphere. Write it below and watch what unfolds. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. Your walk might have felt quiet, but heaven has been loud about you. You've been the topic of spiritual conversations. There's been divine whispering behind the veil. Doors you didn't even knock on are being prepared to open, not because of your perfection, but because of your obedience. You've stayed when it would have been easier to run. You believed when it cost you everything. You listened even when you weren't sure what you were listening for. And that kind of unwavering spirit doesn't go unnoticed by God. That kind of loyalty to an unseen promise doesn't evaporate into the air. It echoes. It shakes realms. It rewrites your story. Every time you doubted yourself, but still chose to move forward, that was a breakthrough moment. Every tear you wiped on your own. Every closed door you honored. Every time you got up after getting knocked down. These weren't setbacks. These were confirmations that you're becoming the version of you that the breakthrough requires. There is no turning back now. You've crossed into a different season. There's a heavenly urgency around your life now, and the signs are going to start showing up louder, brighter, and more frequent than ever before. God has already begun the process. You've already shifted. It may not have hit your bank yet. It may not have hit your inbox. But it's hit the heavens. It's in motion. The delay was never denial. It was divine choreography. There were alignments taking place that your eyes couldn't see. People were being removed not to punish you, but to protect your garden. They weren't equipped to handle the fruits you're about to produce. There are blessings that require isolation before celebration. You've entered that realm. Chosen one. You're not running in circles. You're not confused. You're not lost. What's happening is called divine development. You're being sharpened with each step. Every experience, every letdown, every lesson, it's part of the blueprint. And the truth is, you were never meant to stay where you started. You were always called to move higher. That's why it's been uncomfortable. Growth always carries a certain pressure. But this pressure isn't breaking you. It's preparing you. The wind is changing direction. The resistance you've been feeling is going to break. That weight you've carried is going to lift. But you had to carry it first, so when it's gone, you recognize the difference. There's a spiritual signature to every phase you walk through. You're walking out of the proving ground and into the promised place. And this time, it won't just be a glimpse. It will be a full experience. Something permanent. Something rooted. God never designed you to chase approval. That's why you always felt different. You were never meant to blend in. That ache inside of you was the call, and now that call is being answered. The inner nudge that something is about to change. You're not imagining it. That's your spirit sensing the vibration of breakthrough getting closer. You're tuned into the right frequency now. You're aligned with destiny now. The track you're on isn't just right. It's blessed. You've crossed the line between preparation and manifestation. No more asking if it's your time. No more doubting if you're good enough. You've already been chosen. You've already been validated by the one who doesn't need a second opinion. And that validation comes with visible fruit. The kind that silences every doubter. The kind that exposes every hidden hater. The kind that says, "This was God's doing, and it is marvelous." Chosen one, your steps are ordered. Even the ones that felt like detours. Even the ones that broke your heart. They were all used to reroute you back into the lane where your divine acceleration lives. You haven't been wasting time. You've been storing power. You've been gathering wisdom. You've been building spiritual muscle. And now, all of that internal expansion is about to collide with external blessings. It's unavoidable. It's unstoppable. You've been under divine surveillance, watched by grace, guarded by unseen hands. Every time something tried to take you out, it couldn't. Not because you were lucky, but because you were marked. You are not ordinary. You're not optional. You are essential to the unfolding of a plan bigger than anything your past could have predicted. That's why it's been intense. That's why you've felt pressure on every side. Because greatness doesn't grow in comfort. You're being called to walk into rooms you once felt unworthy of, to handle wealth that once intimidated you, to make decisions from a place of divine confidence, not fear. This version of you, the one that's rising, is the version that's been hidden, waiting for the right conditions. And now the light is green. God said, "Go." So don't second guess. Don't hesitate. This is your lane. This is your track. And everything ahead of you is prepared with your name on it. This journey was never about proving yourself to people. It was always about proving yourself to your purpose. And you did that. You survived what was sent to stop you. You endured what was meant to crush you. And now, you are in the divine position to receive. Not just survive, not just hope, but actually receive what's due. And it's coming faster than your logic can explain. There's a calm coming over your life. But it's not the calm of emptiness. It's the calm before the flood of favor. You won't have to chase. You won't have to force. You won't have to beg. Things will align with you naturally because you finally aligned with yourself. You're no longer split between who you are and who you think you have to be. You're whole. You're grounded. You're in agreement with your calling. The time for hiding is over. The season of delay is broken. The era of fear is finished. The version of you that once played small has been buried. What's emerging now is bold, clear, unshakable. And this clarity is attracting the exact miracles designed for this phase of your life. There is no confusion in your energy anymore. There is no hesitation in your steps. You are walking in rhythm with the divine. Chosen one, the shift has already happened. You may not have seen it yet, but your spirit has already stepped into new territory. That feeling you have deep inside, the pull, the fire, the quiet certainty, that's not imagination. That's confirmation. Something inside of you recognized the change before your surroundings caught up. And that's the mark of a true spiritual alignment. You sense it before you see it. You hear the sound of breakthrough before the doors even creak open. Because you walk by vision, not by sight. And this vision is clearer now than ever before. This is why you've been feeling a strange combination of peace and anticipation. The peace is God's reassurance. The anticipation is God's alert. You're standing at the threshold of a moment that will redefine how you see yourself forever. This is no longer about fixing what's broken. This is about stepping into what's already whole. The version of you that used to need healing has healed. The version of you that used to cry quietly has learned how to roar. And the version of you that used to doubt everything is now standing on sacred ground, anchored by something unshakable. You are no longer waiting for alignment. You are the alignment. Everything around you is beginning to respond to the new power you've been carrying in silence. The right people, the right moments, the right resources. They're being drawn to you because of the frequency you're now walking in. You didn't chase this. You didn't fake this. You became this. And that's what makes it irreversible. This time, the breakthrough won't slip away. This time, the blessing won't be temporary. Because this time, it's not about external change. It's about internal transformation. The pain wasn't wasted. The delays weren't accidents. God used everything. Every no was a setup for a better yes. Every closed door protected you from a level you weren't meant to settle for. And every person who left your life was part of the spiritual clearing required for what's about to arrive. Not everyone can go where you're going. And that used to hurt. But now you understand. Now you see it for what it is. Protection, acceleration, selection. You were not just chosen to endure. You were chosen to emerge, to become the evidence that God never forgets who He called, to be the proof that divine timing is real, and it doesn't skip over anyone who remains faithful. That's who you are now, the proof. And you don't need to convince anyone of that. The results that are about to pour into your life will speak louder than any explanation ever could. The fruit will be undeniable. Something big is coming that will silence every season of doubt. Not because it's flashy, not because it's loud, but because it's right, because it fits, because it was always meant for you. The moment you stopped begging and started believing, everything shifted. The moment you released your grip on control and let faith drive, the path cleared. This is no longer about what you have to do. This is about what's already being done for you. The angels assigned to your life have been moving things behind the scenes. The divine calendar has already marked the hour, and when the moment arrives, it will not feel forced. It will feel familiar, like a homecoming, like a quiet, finally, whispered deep in your soul. Because somewhere inside, you always knew this was coming. You were just waiting for your outside world to catch up to your inner knowing. And now, they're about to match. This is your season of undeniable. No more wondering if it's working. No more asking if it's your turn. It is your turn. And the only thing required of you now is to stay on the track you're already on. Don't rush. Don't panic. Don't look to the left or the right. The road is unfolding directly under your feet. One divine step at a time. You're not waiting on the blessing anymore. The blessing is catching up to you. It's been chasing you this whole time. It's been following your obedience, tracking your faith, mapping your sacrifice. Every tear watered the seeds. Every silence fertilized the ground. And now, the harvest is rising, not from effort, but from alignment. Not from noise, but from stillness. Not from performance, but from presence. Chosen one. This is the moment when things start to make sense. All the years of wondering why it had to be you. All the moments you felt overlooked. All the nights you felt unseen. Now it's becoming clear. You were never being ignored. You were being prepared. The delay was not a punishment. It was a divine pause, so that everything could fall into place exactly when it was supposed to. And that time is now. The atmosphere around you is shifting. You might feel it in your sleep. You might notice it in the way people suddenly treat you differently. You might sense it in the way opportunities begin to whisper your name. This is no accident. This is no coincidence. This is the signature of God saying now. This is divine timing, and nothing can block what's already been released from the spiritual realm. There is a confidence being built inside of you that doesn't need proof. You walk with a sense of knowing now. You walk with grace that doesn't have to shout. That's what happens when you've been through the fire and come out with clarity. That's what happens when you stop asking the world for permission to be powerful. That's what happens when God whispers, "Keep going," and you do, even when your legs are shaking. There's a crown being placed on your life in silence. No ceremony, no crowd, just you and the one who has watched you struggle, stay, and still stand. That kind of loyalty to your calling has a reward, and it's coming. Not just to pay you back, but to upgrade you permanently. You're going to look around soon and not recognize your life, but you'll recognize the feeling. That feeling of, yes, this is what I saw in my spirit. This is what I held on for. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't mess it up. You didn't take the wrong turn. You're on the right track, the right path. The path that leads to fulfillment without compromise. The path that leads to prosperity without losing yourself. The path that leads to relationships that build you, not break you. The path that leads to opportunities that honor your soul, not drain your light. Chosen one, the noise is about to fade. The distractions are about to disappear. The chaos is about to be replaced with clarity. Because what's ahead of you doesn't require confusion. It requires presence. It requires peace. And those things are yours now. You earned them through every yes when it hurt, through every no when it was tempting, through every moment you chose the high road while the world mocked your path. You're entering a new dimension of your story, the kind where favor flows effortlessly, where connections come without compromise, where answers appear before the question is even asked. This is the divine momentum you've been waiting for, and now it's moving through you. Stay alert. Stay available. Because your next chapter isn't just written, it's being lived now. Chosen one, the spiritual groundwork has been done. You didn't skip the hard parts. You didn't fast forward your growth. You endured the wilderness. You stood still when you wanted to run. You waited when everything around you told you to quit. And now, something supernatural is rising from that obedience. This part of your life isn't just another season. This is the result. This is what the waiting was for. Not a hint, not a sample, not a teaser. The full release of what's already been approved for you in the heavenlies. This isn't hype. This is real movement. You're not stuck anymore. You've outgrown the cycles. You've matured past the noise. And because of that, new doors are identifying you. There are blessings scanning for your frequency. And now you're finally emitting the right signal. This shift didn't come from doing more. It came from becoming more. You're no longer asking for what you once begged for. You're attracting what you're finally aligned with. There's a divine intelligence guiding everything now. Your steps, your silence, your urges to wait, your sudden bursts of clarity. You're walking with God in a rhythm that others can't explain. And that's why your results will look different. You're not operating in this world's tempo anymore. You've tapped into something eternal. And in that flow, things accelerate. Miracles multiply. Timing bends to your favor. Grace goes ahead of you. And doors, they open because you arrived, not because you knocked. There's a wind at your back now, not a wind of chance, but of divine propulsion. You are being carried into spaces you once only dreamed of, not because you changed who you are, but because you finally stood fully in who you've always been. That's the secret. Not becoming more, but remembering what was always inside of you. That memory of power, purpose, and divine identity has been activated now. It's not going dormant again. It can't be silenced again. Everything is different now, even if it looks the same. That's the power of alignment. You've passed through the inner threshold. Your heart believes it now. Your mind agrees. And your spirit has already seen what's next. That's why it's no longer difficult to let go of what no longer serves you. That's why the doors you used to pray would open no longer interest you. Because God showed you the real thing. And now your soul refuses to settle for less. There's a maturity rising in you. Not the kind that makes you look strong on the outside, but the kind that makes you glow from the inside. The kind that says, I don't need to prove this. I just need to walk it out. And as you walk it out, the proof will follow. Signs, wonders, confirmations. You won't even need to ask for them. They'll show up uninvited. They'll show up because your journey is now undeniable. You've been recalibrated, rewired, realigned, and you're seeing things clearly now. not with your natural eyes, but with your spirit. The people who are for you are becoming obvious. The ones who are not are revealing themselves with every passing day. The clutter is falling away, not because you're trying harder, but because truth has taken over. And truth is a filter that only lets the real stay. This is why you've been feeling a heightened awareness. Your spiritual ears are sharper. Your inner discernment is louder. That's not paranoia. That's preparation. You're being tuned like an instrument to carry the weight of what's next. Because what's coming won't just bless you. It will require you to operate at your highest spiritual frequency. And you're ready for that. You've been prepared for that. Chosen one, God isn't just walking with you. He's orchestrating around you. Even when you sleep, things are being rearranged. Even when you're still, things are moving on your behalf. It's not random. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's favor. Divine favor. Tailor-made for the version of you that stayed faithful, stayed low, stayed alert. That's who the reward is coming for. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the realest. You're walking into environments that were once closed to you. But this time, you won't be knocking. You'll be welcomed. There will be a seat with your name on it. A door with your signature carved into the frame. A table already set. A blessing already wrapped. You won't have to hustle for it. You won't have to fight for it. The fight was in the wilderness. The favor is in the promised place. And you, chosen one, have arrived. You are no longer who you were when this journey started. That version of you was brave, yes. But the one standing here now, the one walking forward in this new chapter, that version is anointed, crowned, anchored, built for the blessing. No longer asking when, now simply receiving. And receiving with confidence, not confusion. With peace, not panic. With clarity, not fear. Your name has been whispered in rooms you haven't walked into yet. Your presence is being requested before you've even arrived. That's how divinely timed this moment is. You don't have to force entry. You were invited. You don't need to explain yourself. You were called. And the calling comes with confirmation. The calling comes with compensation. And the calling comes with protection. That protection is still active. Even stronger now. What tried to touch you in the last season won't even get close in this one. What used to shake you won't even register now. You're spiritually fortified. Your peace is non-negotiable. And your energy? It's reserved only for what feeds your future. This is the power of being on the right track. It filters what's for you and clears out what isn't. Effortlessly. You'll start to notice how the right people begin to show up. They speak your language. They carry your fire. They don't drain your spirit. They ignite it. You're not meant to walk this next chapter alone. And God is sending reinforcements. Kingdom connections. Divine companions. People who recognize your light without needing an explanation. People who pray when you're silent and cheer even when no one's watching. They're part of your elevation. And they're coming soon. There's no more room for fear. Not in this chapter. Not in this version of you. Fear had its time. Doubt had its place. But now, boldness takes the lead. Now trust leads the way. And with that trust, you're going to see speed. What used to take years will happen in days. What used to feel impossible will unfold effortlessly. Because when you're in divine flow, time bends to favor. And you are in flow now. Stay grounded. Stay present. The unfolding has already begun. And the beauty of this part of your journey is that it no longer depends on the opinions of others. You're not doing this for applause. You're not here for validation. You're walking in purpose, and purpose is its own reward. The blessings are just bonuses. The peace is the proof. The fire inside of you is the signal. This is your moment, chosen one. Not because it looks perfect, but because you are finally ready. You've been refined in the fire, tested by time, approved in secret. And now, the public blessing is about to appear. Chosen one, everything that was once out of reach is now within your grasp. Not because you chased harder, but because you aligned deeper. The shift that's happening is no longer just around you. It's in you. And what is in you now is unshakable. The core of your being has changed. You no longer think from lack. You no longer act from desperation. You're no longer hoping for something to save you. You know you've already been rescued. This walk isn't powered by panic anymore. It's fueled by a sacred confidence. And that confidence is drawing miracles into your life like magnets. You've walked through the fire and didn't lose your identity. You endured rejection and didn't lose your voice. You were betrayed and didn't lose your ability to love. And now you're rising with a story that holds divine weight. This is not a return to who you used to be. This is an emergence into who you were always becoming. And this emergence cannot be reversed. What's been activated in you cannot be undone. Heaven has approved your rise, and nothing can override that decision. The frequency of your life has changed. You're not on the old channel anymore. The things that used to distract you, drain you, delay you, they don't even register in your spirit now. You've been upgraded. You're operating from a divine code now. A frequency that doesn't beg. A vibration that doesn't chase. Your presence speaks before your words do. Your spirit shifts atmospheres before your body even enters the room. And that's because you've become a carrier of divine movement. Don't be surprised when doors open with no explanation. Don't be surprised when favor finds you in unexpected places. This is the evidence of being on the right track. When you're walking in divine order, you don't have to figure everything out. You just have to stay in motion. God is the one setting the appointments. God is the one arranging the moments. Your only job is to remain in alignment and show up when the bell rings. Every obstacle you faced before this was a training ground. You thought it was warfare. You thought it was attack. But it was preparation. The pressure wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to identify you. The pressure revealed the promise inside of you. It crushed the surface so the treasure could rise. You were being built in silence. And now, it's time for what was planted in pain to rise in power. The right track doesn't always feel smooth. In fact, it often feels like resistance. That's how you know it's real. Because destiny is not found in comfort. It's carved in pressure. And you, chosen one, kept walking even when it cost you peace, reputation, sleep, and understanding. You traded popularity for purpose. You traded comfort for calling. And now, the reward is on its way. You were never meant to walk like everyone else. That's why your steps have been so different. You've always carried something weightier, something deeper. And now, that weight is about to become wealth. Not just financially, but spiritually, relationally, mentally. You're going to overflow in every area because the track you're on was divinely engineered to lead to overflow. And you stayed on it, even when it got lonely, even when it got dark, even when no one clapped. Chosen one, there is something sacred about your silence. The way you grew without having to announce every move. The way you cried without needing sympathy. The way you built yourself while no one was watching. That silence is now becoming your strength. That hidden work is now becoming your spotlight. You didn't need noise to validate your journey, because the results are going to do all the talking now. There are miracles on the calendar with your name on them. There are deposits scheduled into your life that will cancel every season of lack. Not because you hustled harder, but because you surrendered smarter. You didn't force. You flowed. You didn't strive. You trusted. And that trust didn't go unnoticed. God was watching. Heaven was listening. And now, creation itself is aligning to deliver what was always meant to be yours. People won't understand how fast things are about to happen for you. But that's okay. Because you'll know. You'll know the nights you stayed up praying, the tears that hit the pillow when you had no words left, the battles you fought without armor. You'll know the cost of the miracle, and that's why you'll carry it with reverence, not pride. This blessing isn't a trophy. It's a testimony. The next version of your life is going to look nothing like your past, but it's going to feel exactly like your spirit knew it should. That's how you'll recognize it. That quiet yes inside. That moment when your soul says, "This is it." Not because it's flashy, not because it's big, but because it's right. It's aligned. It fits. And that's the sign of a real blessing. It doesn't require you to shrink, to beg, or to pretend. You're not the same person anymore. You don't even think the same. You're not trying to survive. You're ready to receive. You're not hoping someone saves you. You're already walking in your own salvation. You've moved from panic to presence, from noise to knowing, from striving to stillness. And that's where the divine flow lives. In the stillness, in the certainty, in the truth that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You no longer need to ask, "Is it happening?" Because it already is. It's unfolding right now, in the subtle ways, in the unexplainable peace, in the perfect timing, in the sudden opportunities, in the way you're being elevated without effort. You are now reaping what you didn't even know you were sowing. The seeds you planted in obedience are now blossoming in full view. The invisible has become visible. God has positioned you as a living example of what happens when you trust the process, of what happens when you remain faithful in the silence. You are no longer chasing the life you want. You are becoming the version of yourself that naturally attracts it. And this version of you doesn't need validation. It walks in full agreement with heaven's decision. And heaven has said, "You're ready. There's no going back now. The gates are open. The path is clear. The light is green. All you have to do is continue. Not accelerate, not force, just continue. Stay on the track. Stay in the flow. Stay in the presence. And everything you once longed for will begin showing up without struggle. Because that's the reward of alignment. Effortless arrival. Chosen one. You've stepped into the irreversible. What has been set in motion on your behalf cannot be paused, delayed, sabotaged, or redirected. It has been stamped by something greater than chance, greater than timing, greater than the opinions of people. This movement was signed by the creator of your story. The track you're on is not just correct, it's sacred. That's why everything is beginning to respond to you in a new way. That's why there's an energetic shift surrounding your steps. You're no longer entering spaces to see if you belong. You're entering to take your rightful place. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment. You've been trained, tested, and trusted. God watched you honor seasons that made no sense. You obeyed instructions that cost you relationships. You followed nudges that pulled you away from comfort and into quiet. And now that obedience has formed the container for your next elevation, this next part of your life will not be rushed. It will not be faked. It will not be manufactured. It will unfold. And the unfolding will carry the fingerprint of heaven. You won't even have to announce what's happening. People will feel it. Environments will adjust to it. Atmospheres will shift as you step in. That's what it means to walk in spiritual authority. You're not here to explain. You're here to embody what God has spoken over your life. You've arrived at the part of the path where momentum takes over, where your prayers catch up with your preparation, where your purpose begins to carry its own force. It's not that things are easier now. It's that you've become stronger. sharper, lighter. You've shed the emotional weight of the old story. You're not dragging the past into your future. You've released it. You've healed from it. And now your hands are free to receive what's next. The moments of doubt you battled in silence? They built the muscle you're now using to stand tall. The isolation that once felt like punishment? It preserved the purity of your anointing. You weren't being left behind. You were being set apart. You weren't being overlooked. You were being covered. And now that the time has come, you're going to realize that everything you thought you were losing was actually making room for what would fit you better. This is the phase where sudden turns begin. Not to throw you off, but to redirect you into doors that only open at specific frequencies. And now that you're vibrating on that higher plane, those doors are unlocking at rapid speed. Divine appointments are being set without your awareness. Invitations are being written in rooms you haven't even dreamed of. But your name is known. Your energy is recognized. Your time is here. You don't need to announce what God is doing. The evidence will speak for itself. Your results will reveal the covenant you walk in, the kind of favor that cannot be reasoned with, the kind of provision that can't be explained by numbers. That's the kind of flow you're walking into. Not because of effort, but because of essence. Not because you proved yourself, but because you became yourself. And now the world is finally catching up with the version of you that heaven has known all along.